Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about self-directed learning and individualized teaching learning instruction versus teacher-directed approaches. But before we move on, I would like you to reflect in the following words. Everyone wants change, but no one brings it by themselves. Are we ready to break our own paradigms? Are we ready to start breaking the others' paradigms? Just think about that. Keep it in mind. Okay, let's start with self-directed learning. We, as facilitators, we should be stimulating self-evaluation from students. We should be promoting creativity and critical thinking. We must be encouraging initiative in the students. We gotta encourage thought and processes more than grades. We should be providing students a variety of options that follow the same learning objective. We are going to be asking students to make their own learning plan. We're going to keep or we're going to maintain the interest and a positive attitude towards every single activity that they may face or we are going to face. In this slide, the individualized teaching learning instruction is based on some principles. In here, we as teachers, we are going to diagnose the learners through prior activities. We're going to approach students in an individual way. Then, we're going to identify physical, emotional, and social needs that may appear. Later, we're going to identify the way learners supply their learner needs. And in here, we're going to assess the learner's achievements in relation to the learning contract. The learning contract that is part of this that I'm going to explain after this. And last, we have to provide the learner the resources he needs and also the appropriate feedback. About the learning contract, it establishes three main concerns. The first one, learner's responsibility. The second one, goal setting. The third one, evaluation. Those are the three main things that students must be familiarized with, and they should know what they have to do in every single point. Of course, they need to keep in mind that learning content is going to be effective in everything they do or carry out. In this slide, we're going to develop the potential that students have for self-directness. According to the author of the reading, we need to know how to disseminate the potential of SDL. How are we going to do that? He proposes that we should start by creating websites promoting SDL, by writing articles on SDL and publish them, by creating professional development programs for SDL, by making adults aware of their abilities to learn by themselves, or by training workshops, or just by taking the risk to make more time for guiding the students. Um, he also talked about creating websites promoting SDL, and he mentioned that essays, testimonials of students, examples of learning contracts, and models of instructional materials are good ways to start disseminating the potential of the SDL. On the other hand, we have the teacher-directed approaches. But when we were reading about that, two questions arose. Why they still dominate? Why teacher-directed approaches still dominate? Let's see. First of all, because teachers do not devote enough time on teacher quality. Second, because the students are resistant to the SDL. They prefer a teacher who tells them what to do instead of start doing something. Third, uh, the traditional teacher-directed system is repeated over and over again through the years. And last but not least, teachers find difficult to trust in the learner and think they will lose control of their class. So those are the reasons why they still dominate, and nowadays they still be there. The teacher-directed learning is with these teacher-directed approaches. But what are those reasons for teachers to go wrong, to keep on doing it wrong, in the wrong way? The most important ones are the following: ignorance of the principle of adult learning, fear to make radical changes on what is still working, and finally, external pressure by the same higher education programs. So, as I mentioned in the very beginning, are we ready to start breaking our own paradigms? Are we ready to break others' paradigms? So, in a nutshell, self-directed learning is where individuals take initiative and responsibility for learning. Individuals select, manage, and assess their own learning activities. They learn what they want to learn and they plan it. They have motivation, and that motivation is most of the times critical in every single thing that they do. The independence is setting goals is very important, and defining what is worthwhile to learn. Teachers provide scaffolding, mentoring, and advising when it is appropriate to do that. And last, peers provide collaboration in every single task that they carry out. Okay, this is the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for your patience and your attendance.